I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, first order of business is to elect a temporary president. And the temporary president shall be elected from among the holdover members. Those holdover members are members, of course, whose terms are not expiring or beginning. So the holdover members are Mrs. McBride, Ms. Mungo, and Dr. Singh. Do I hear a nomination for the temporary president?
Dr. Singh?
That nomination has been made. Do I hear a motion to close that nomination?
Well, a second.
Motion's been made. Do I hear, let's have a roll call vote on Dr. Singh as temporary president, please.
Yes.
Mrs. Boyce.
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Mrs. Boyce.
You guys said, do I want him as temporary president? Is that right? And we have three options?
Now we have one.
I have one option?
We got to clarify, Bonnie.
The only people that vote on this.
Yes, I'm sorry, Ms. Boyes and Ms. Berg aren't seated yet.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't vote
I
yet.
can't vote yet. That's why I was wondering. I was confused.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm confusing.
I don't exist yet.
Mrs. McBride. Aye. Ms. Mungo.
Aye.
Dr. Singh.
Aye.
Motion carries. Dr. Singh is temporary president.
Okay. I want you to bang this thing with all your gusto.
Next 3 minutes, huh?
Yes, sir.
He's out there.
So, we go for the Gateway Board of the School Directors Reorganization Meeting. And we will elect
We're number four.
Number four,
We'll do
Dr.
number
Singh.
4.
number 4.
Yeah, we'll have the,
Seating of the board members.
Okay.
yeah.
So, Honorable Judge, Jeffrey Roberts will read the certificate of elections and administer the oath of the office.
Good evening.
Hello.
Aye.
I went to the wrong place, by the way.
To the LGI.
That's where it was last year. I'm a preacher. All right, so the certificate of election. Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, County of Allegheny, we, the undersigned, constituting the return board of the County of Allegheny, do hereby certify that at the election held on the 7th day of November 2023, Cheryl Boyes, Jack Bova, Donna Burns, Susan Delaney, John Ritter, and Valerie Warning were duly elected to the office of school director in the Gateway School District in the County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Witness our hands and seal on this 27th day of November 2023. Okay, the newly elected officers, please stand. Okay, repeat it. I state your name.
I, Jack Bova,
Voice.
Haven't been elected to the office of school director
I've been elected to the office of school director
for the school district of Gateway,
for the school district of Gateway,
County of Allegheny,
County of Allegheny,
in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
I solemnly swear that I will support,
I solemnly swear that I will support,
obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge my duties of my office with fidelity.
and I will discharge my duties of my office with fidelity.
All right, congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah, you have to sign those. Yes, and then I'll
So yours is on it. Okay.
sign the new one.
Here you go. You're welcome.
Figured you want green.
There you go.
Yeah, they're, I have them in my bag. I thought I had them. They're gone. They don't work.
Yeah, we hid it from you.
Thank
Do you need
you.
a pen as well?
No, I actually have one, and I just didn't feel like wasting time rubbing in, and don't want to hold up Mr. Herbst.
No worries. Thank you, sir. I might have that.
Judge Herbst. When do you get sworn in, Ms. Judge?
When do you get?
Number 5. This thing, okay.
All right, congratulations, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you, Your Honor. Just hand them off to me, thank you.
Your Honor, Your Honor.
Yeah, Jeff doesn't watch it.
The next item is election of president. So, Mr. Board, the past the nominating committee, he heads the nominating committee, and so we will have the candidates.
You should have a ballot at your seat for the people that have already submitted names for nominations. And complete the ballot number 1 for president at this time. Ballot number 1. And when you're ready, I'll collect them. Both ballot number 1s?
Just one for president.
Just one ballot number 1.
That's president.
Oh, okay. I'll read these certificates aloud. Okay. Ballots aloud as to how each member has voted. I say, Janet, take notes, because we're going to need to do this next year. Board member Mrs. McBride voted for Mrs. McBride. Board member Dr. Singh voted for Ms. Mungo. Board member Ms. Mungo voted for Ms. Mungo. Board member Mr. Bova voted for Ms. Mungo. Board member Mrs. Burns voted for Ms. Mungo. Board member Mrs. Warning voted for Mrs. McBride. Board member Mrs. Delaney voted for Ms. Mungo. Board member Mr. Ritter voted for Mr. Ritter. Board member Ms. Boyce voted for Mr. Ritter. Congratulations, Ms. Mungo. Thank you.
Congratulations. I think we usually applaud now or something. So now,
Bonnie, I think Ms. Mungo takes over.
Yes, pass the gavel to Mrs. Mungo.
Do I get to hit it now or later?
it's a good fun no matter what anybody says. Number 6.
All right, so number 6, the election of the vice president. The nominating committee consists of 3 board members appointed by the immediate past president, Mr. Bova, Leslie McBride, John Ritter, and Valerie Warning were the nominating committee. So do you want to explain the
Again, we
ballot?
have a ballot in front of you with names for the seat of vice president. If you would complete the ballot, and if there's any other nominees from the floor, we'll take those now. However, when you're done filling it out, I will collect the ballots.
Yes.
Thank you.
Barney, the judge, your right hand. He just brought those in, so you know.
Thank you very much. Perfect. Let me put this away first before.
Right.
Okay, for vice president, board member Dr. Singh voted for Mr. Ritter. Board member Ms. Mungo voted for Mr. Bova. Board member Mrs. McBride voted for Mr. Ritter. Board member Mr. Bova voted for Mr. Bova. Board member Mrs. Burns voted for Mr. Bova. Board member Mrs. Delaney voted for Mendel Singh. Board Member Mrs. Boyce voted for Mr. Bova, and Board Member Mr. Ritter voted for Mr. Ritter, and Board Member Mrs. Warning voted for Mr. Ritter. We have a tie between Mr. Bova and Mr. Ritter, so I would like you to use your Vice President ballot number 2 and select your candidate in terms of either Mr. Bova, those two candidates, Mr. Bova or Mr. Ritter. Ballot number 2, please. Okay, Board Member Mr. Bova for Vice President voted for Mr. Bova. Board Member Ms. Burns voted for Mr. Bova. Board Member Mrs. Warning voted for Mr. Ritter. Board Member Mrs. Delaney voted for Mr. Bova. Board Member Mr. Ritter voted for Mr. Ritter. Board Member Mrs. Boyce voted for Mr. Ritter. Board Member Ms. Mongo voted for Mr. Bova. Board Member Dr. Singh voted for Mr. Ritter. And Board Member Mrs. McBride voted for Mr. Ritter. Mr. Ritter has the majority granted.
Alrighty, so next we need to discuss the schedule of the school board meetings. So I know that Bonnie gave us a list of the school board meetings for 2024, and we need to accept a motion for this document, and then we can discuss it.
Make a motion to accept.
The school board meetings?
A second.
So I just wanted to bring to attention that
The paperwork.
motion so moved. I just wanted to bring to the attention that there is an issue with February the 19th, which is President's Day. So that's the only, does anyone have any other discussions about Mondays?
Do you have an alternative date that you want to use?
I think Monday, if no one has any suggestions for an alternative date, is everyone okay with Monday?
An alternative date for just that day?
Oh, for the 19th, okay.
Just the following
Probably
day?
Tuesday, the following day.
The following day, the Tuesday, the 20th?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't have a
So
copy
then-
of this.
You have a motion on the floor to approve it as is.
I mean, I know it's on the
Can we
board
get an
docs.
acceptance of a motion now to
Accept the
modify
change.
the original motion to include the change that has been articulated by the president?
I make a friendly amendment accordingly.
Thank you.
There's a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now you can move forward to vote on the.
Thank you. So now I need a motion to move forward to vote on the altered, we accepted the change. We need to make a motion to,
Just go ahead and vote.
just a vote.
Yep.
Okay,
Just to vote at this point.
all right, let's take a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any nays? Okay, motion accepted.
So those are now Mondays at 6 PM. Other than
Monday
that
at
one
6
day.
PM,
All Mondays.
except for February the 20th, which will be a Tuesday. So studies,
I don't have a copy with me, but we can.
study session.
Tomorrow.
That's on Tuesday because that's the holiday.
Okay. So the study sessions will be on the Mondays that are noted, and then there's that one change on Tuesday, the 20th, and then the regular board meeting would be the following Monday, except for, as you can see on the document, Tuesday, May the 28th. Okay. All right, so next would be the appointment of solicitor. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors reappoint Bruce Dice and Associates, PC, as solicitor under the current terms and condition agreed upon.
Second.
All right. First and second.
Who was the second?
I'm sorry. Second was Susan. First was Val. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, do we clap now? I understand.
A motion?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn, second? Second. All right.
All in favor?
All in favor? I got you the jittery go.
You're not jittery.
Okay. So now, we're going to call to order the regular board meeting.
Before we start, I'd like to call executive session with the board members and our solicitor.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yep, all right.
We're going to
Break
return.
for executive session.
We're going to return.
We'll be back and return for the regular board meeting. All stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Got a roll call, please.
Mrs. Boyce? Here. Mr. Bova?
Here.
Mrs. Burns? Here. Mrs. Delaney? Here. Mrs. McBride? Here. Mrs. Mungo?
Here.
Mr. Ritter?
Here?
Dr. Singh?
Here.
Mrs. Warning?
Here.
All right. Welcome, welcome. This is our first regular board meeting that I am now the president of. So thank you, everyone. John Ritter, thank you to all the new board members that are here. Welcome. Just bear with me. I'm going to be able to get through this without passing out. So. All right. Do we have any comments from residents on the agenda, on any agenda items? Resident. Anyone out there in cyber world? Okay, so no comments, all right. Any board member discussion items? Okay, nothing, moving right along, you guys are making this easy. Minutes of the previous meeting,
Motion.
Second.
all right, so moved. All in favor? Any discussions?
I can't remember. The last time we had a meeting, there was an item that was tabled regarding the extension, the deletion of some language that says a board president can only serve 2 terms. And I think what we ended up doing was tabling that. So it's still stuck on the table. Is that true?
Right, it's in the resolution 6. That'll be in the resolutions. It's item 6.
So that means the minutes are okay.
Okay, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, so I'm going to now pass it over
Thank you.
to Dr. Rossi.
All right. Mike, we have financial reports.
Thanks, Dr. Rossi. Item 1, payment of district list of bills for the month of December 2023. The list of bills will be compiled and emailed to the board for their review on December 15, 2023. The board will have to close of business day on December 20th, 2023 to review the list of bills and to ask any questions regarding the payments. The vendor check payers will then be mailed to the vendors on December 21st, 2023. Item 2, budget transfers. I don't believe there are any this month.
No, okay, no. Yep. Yeah, just need a motion.
I need a motion.
Motion to accept on the bills. Second.
Any discussion, roll call? Any discussions first? Any discussions? All right, we'll take a roll call.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Mrs. Burns?
Yes.
Mrs. Delaney? Aye. Mrs. McBride?
Aye.
Mrs. Mungo? Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Dr. Singh?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mrs. Boyce?
Aye. So moved.
And items previously.
And next would be items previously tabled or carried over.
There are two.
There were two. I think this is, I don't know.
005 and 006.
That. Okay, policy 005, organization, and then policy 006. These look different.
There's no motion to untable it, so we can certainly
Oh, I'm sorry, can you give me a moment? Can we, so the 005, is that the one about,
Yes.
Yeah, the zero. So in that one, it wants to take the sentence, the president and vice president may serve no more than 2 consecutive terms in the office.
That is correct.
And then, I motion to untable that. Just the, I didn't read 06 yet.
Second.
All in favor? To untable it.
Correct.
005.
To untable it.
To untable. All in favor? We had a,
Aye.
Aye.
okay.
Any opposed?
Any opposed? Now we have discussion about it.
It's now available to be voted upon, up or down.
I
Okay.
think the 2-year things worked fine for many years, so I'm in favor of sticking with it and let's get on with life.
Yeah, I agree with Jack, and he, as he's said previously, and correct me if I'm wrong, a reorganization meeting can happen at any time. It's just not once a year. So if people want to change things,
They could do that.
they can
Yep,
do that.
you're right.
Okay.
Anyone oppose that? Any discussion opposing that?
Okay.
So then that resolution dies for purposes of changing it. It remains the same.
Remains the same.
So on to the second issue.
Okay, so the second issue is policy 006, the meetings.
That one is,
We want to remove the language where it says board member resolution. A resolution presented by an individual board member can be considered a study session or a regular meeting unless the entire board has received at least 7 days notice of such future presentation. And each board member is provided an actual copy of the resolution to be considered by the board at the next meeting. This policy may be excused only when 2/3 of the majority of the board shall vote to consider a resolution at its study session or regular meeting without such prior notice.
Robin, if I may offer a bit of a background on the tension on both sides of that argument.
please.
So if a board member wanted to walk in right now and say, I'm putting forth a resolution that I'm making up in my head right now. Well, let's say, as a sitting board member, I'd say, how could I do research on that? How could I talk to the public about that? You should, if you have a motion that you want to bring forward, a resolution, you should at least put it out there 2 days, maybe 5 days, maybe 7 days, so that the other board members would have the chance to go out there, download it, look it up, search other school districts, ask the public, think it through, talk to a solicitor, etc. So the one side of that is that it's insulting almost for a school board member to walk in and just slap some board resolution down and think it's going to go through without discussion. The other side of that would be that there are times when emergencies happen and you just have to say, listen, this has just come up at the last minute. I think it's a way out. And then if we get 2/3 of the folks saying, you know what, let's just talk about that and see if this is the right way to go, or we could amend it or something like that, and then fix the thing that has come up at the last moment. So this language sort of leans to the direction where you have to anticipate emergencies at least 7 days in advance and formulate them.
But it also says that.
For emergencies.
It does with the 2/3. It says this could be excused when the 2/3 majority consider it.
So that's the background for both sides of this.
Okay.
But doesn't that encompass both of these, like the 7-day and the emergency, based on the language? Like the last two sentences, Robin?
So someone proposed that we delete this paragraph. Some could argue that it should stay in, because it covers both contingencies.
Well, it does say, this policy may be excused only when 2/3 of the majority of the board shall vote to consider a resolution at its study session or regular meeting without such prior notice.
So it covers both. Is that?
So as part of the discussion, Bruce, did I get that right? Am I missing any
I think you got it
legal
right.
aspects?
It's just a question now, do you want to amend it, or do you just want to leave it the way it is? And I think the way it is has both sides.
Right. Covers both sides.
Yes. I thought it was well drafted. I mean, it says, it gives you the option, if there's an emergency, to get 2/3.
Right.
If you can't, then you're not going to rush the board into making decisions.
So in a moment or two, Robin, we're going to vote. I'm going to vote to not strike this language out, just to retain it. Right.
Is there a reason that somebody asked to strike it?
Whose resolution it was?
Yeah, it was very good.
She's not here anymore.
Yeah, so,
Man, that's cool.
Any other comments, discussion?
so we're voting to retain that.
The language
deleted-
as it is.
Deleted as is. Okay,
Line-
that's what I thought.
Do I need to can I make a motion to untable 006?
Okay, if you're going to do, yeah, I think that's the appropriate thing, so make that motion.
Okay.
Is there a second? Second.
All right. So all in favor?
Discussion.
Yeah.
No discussion.
Untabling it.
Any additional discussion? Okay.
So it's on
It's untabled.
Okay, voted on it.
Now-
Passed.
Now we have to vote to untable it.
Yeah,
Vote.
go ahead, so vote on it.
Yes.
Vote to untable it.
Aye.
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 Okay.
Now it's on
Now,
the agenda.
it's on the agenda.
If you want to keep it the way it is, you just don't deal with this anymore and move to the next one.
Okay.
So I make a motion to vote on this then?
No, you don't make them- I would suggest that if you want to change it,
Any
you would vote on it.
changes? We're not making any changes.
So make a motion to not make any changes.
Sure, that gets it done.
To be retained.
We just don't do anything to keep it the
Ignore
way
the
it is.
motion causes the language.
Right, just like the last.
And
Okay.
it dies.
Yep, it just
All right,
dies.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
Okay.
All right, we got number 6 off of there. It's been on there for 2 months.
Okay. So next would be personnel.
Okay, personnel, all right. Andrea, personnel?
We have 2 resignations, one of which is Bob Brown, our director of facilities. He will be retiring at the end of this fiscal year. At the end of this fiscal year. Employment for 1 new teacher and also Ms. Keisha for consulting contract post-retirement. 2 leave of absences. 1 transfer. 1 rescindance of a supplemental contract for volunteers.
So moved.
Second. What? So we no longer have a robotics advisor at the middle school?
The individual who had been awarded the contract has stepped down because they did not get to move forward with it at the time.
What do you mean they didn't get the move?
They did not move forward with any implementation, so they've asked to rescind it altogether.
So we don't have a robotics team at the middle
Presently,
school?
no.
There's no, really.
Not the advisor.
Okay, so
You still have a team.
We still have to
Okay, we
meet.
still have a
we
team.
have robotics, and now we have nobody teaching it? Or,
To be club.
The club,
yeah.
Supplemental
It's just a club.
so the,
So we'll repost
post.
and see if anyone else would be interested in filling that supplemental void.
so what happens with these kids right now? They just don't have robotics club?
Correct. I think the problem is that it has not been happening to this point. So the individual who was awarded the supplemental has rescinded it at this time to allow the opportunity for someone else to take that position.
So the club hasn't been meeting?
Correct. That's my understanding.
But the kids, do we know those kids? I'm assuming the kids still want this, right?
Yeah, we'll repost the
Repost
bid.
it.
We'll repost it, so it's not, okay. I just want to make sure the kids are still.
Right, why haven't there been any meetings?
Right.
Oh, I mean, approximately a month or two ago, they went all the way to
Maryland.
High school.
Florida.
This is for middle school. That was high school. Yep.
Maryland to the competition?
Texas.
This is for middle school though, right? This one.
Yeah.
This.
Jeanette has an answer.
Yeah, I was,
I have two boys in the middle school that actually, we got a Google document at the beginning of the year questioning it, that they filled out, that they want to be part of it. And nobody's heard anything since that document was submitted. So I can't even tell you that this club actually
Exists.
ever met, ever did anything, ever. So it's one of many Google forms you filled out to be interested in something, but you don't hear anything back from. So I don't believe this
So
club
it's not like we
actually.
already have a group of established
who are
kids,
just sitting there
and there's no
going-
one showing up
Right,
to
right.
guide them.
No, it was
Okay.
my understanding that it did not
It just
start as
didn't.
of yet, and then
Okay.
Nicole, who was awarded the supplemental, has rescinded to allow someone else to fill that void and be able to get the groups.
Okay.
Back
so
together.
we do have a group of kids though that was interested in
And
robotics.
they're in limbo.
And they're in limbo.
That's my understanding, yes.
Is there any, well, this is just something, they have a phenomenal group at the high school. Is there any way they can do any kind of
Combined.
combine them together?
Yeah,
Even some of the kids are so,
Technologically savvy.
advanced that they can pull something in like that. We do have, I know with the esports,
That's
we
what I was
had
thinking.
a high school student that actually ran it. I was just the advisor. Giving them the opportunity. I know a elementary school had approached one or two of the members of the high school robotics to see if they could start doing it at the elementary. So, I mean, that's something
To consider.
to consider.
Absolutely.
I noticed something. When we had the Monroeville Community Days, they were there, both the middle school and the high school. That is an option, but what I noticed is when they were introducing their projects, the high school kids took control and the middle school kids were on the back burner. So I sort of want the middle school kids to shine and feel not intimidated by the older kids, which I think was happening. So I don't know if you want to give time to see if we can find an advisor
I
and
think,
do the middle school.
I don't think the middle school kids were there. I think it was all the high school kids.
I asked some of them, the ones that weren't talking, I asked them, were they from the high school? And they said, no, they were from the middle school, because they were just sitting there not saying a word.
It might be a different type of environment if you have a high school kid who
It's possible, yeah.
that's now with the kids and working with them on a regular, might have a different
There's a
type of
couple ways to look at it, you know.
Yeah, they might not have had a relationship with those high school kids or
And they
knew them.
just, yeah,
We-
right.
We could put this out to bid and then,
See
and
what
at the same
happens.
time, strategize with building administrators as to what alternatives would be out there for us, should someone not bid on this position to keep that club alive. That's not a concern. I think we can get that taken care of.
Would the amount change since the school year's half over?
To be honest, I'm not certain I can answer that right now, because I don't know if historically that we haven't adjusted it, so I'd have to.
Yes, the
look
whole
into that.
agenda, the whole agenda.
All right, there's no more discussion, we'll do a roll call.
Mrs. Burns?
Aye.
Mrs. Delaney? Aye. Mrs. McBride?
Aye.
Mrs. Mungo?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Dr. Singh?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mrs. Boyce?
Hi.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Administrative resolutions.
Dr. Chenky.
Thank you, Dr. Rossi. Item number 1, we have approved the display of the following policies. Policy number 200, enrollment of students. Policy number 202, non-residents. Item number 2, approve the conference for Dr. Guy Rossi to attend PSBA, Pennsylvania School Safety Institute. Item number 3, approve the following college and high school courses as listed.
Mike.
Thanks, Dr. Rossi. Item 1, transportation routing software. Approve the purchase of Tyler Technology student transportation routing software by Traversa through Student Transportation of America as listed in Exhibit A. Item 2, approve the revised service order with AIU Technology Services for the Allegheny Connect RAN Consortium as depicted in Exhibit B. Item 3, approve the general fund budget tax rates
not to exceed the index for the 24-25 fiscal year as set by PDE, which the 24-25 fiscal year is 5.3%. Item 4, donations received. The Gateway School District would like to acknowledge the donations of our Thanksgiving dinners from the following businesses: Premier Automation, McDonald's on Northern Pike, Spitfire Z Catering, Jadens, and Sean Logan. Item 5, donations granted. The Gateway School District donations to the Winter Percussion / Guard not to exceed $5,000. That's $2,500 each for Winter Percussion and Guard.
Second.
Motion made. Any discussion?
Sure, number 5, donations perhaps. So, in the past, we've always tried to be really balanced in what the board does for
Given group. Favor one group over another. And so if we do something for one group, we try to do it for all groups. So it was a time when the football team won a championship and the board was considering buying some rings, taking it out of our general fund budget to do that. And the board wrestled with the question, should we take money from the residents in order to award one and only one team and not all teams? So it went back and forth and it was a bit contentious. So I think that's the same contention here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it just two groups, and it's not all groups at Gateway that are all going to get $5,000, right?
So that, those groups get no money at all from the district.
Right.
They don't even get supplementals, so that even the staff is not paid for by the district. So this was, if I understand, a temporary solution for this year to help pay for staff because it's really too late to do supplementals for groups that are, this group that was already in process. And that the supplementals would be considered for the next fiscal year in the overall supplemental budget.
Thank you.
I just want to say also, the Winter Percussion Guard are groups where you're talking about the rings, they're teams. So there's a difference between the teams and the groups. And I know we had allotted money to the hockey program of $5,000. I know that we have done that in the past.
Did we give that program $5,000 in addition to supplementals?
You said no. Is that correct? There was no
No,
supplemental?
the hockey team.
The hockey.
Hockey team has terrible, really worn out shirts, and then the board was wrestling with the question, how could we have Gateway represent Gateway in sporting events with shirts that were completely worn out? And so that board at the time was moved to say, let's buy them some new shirts.
No, I was asking if we supplement the hockey team further.
We do not.
Stuff.
Okay.
No. It's not a sanctioned sport as far as through the WIPIAL.
Like they get a $5,000.
$5,000.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot out of budget, yeah, right.
And this was not in the budget, correct?
This is mine, we would have to do it. I'd have to go through the accounts with it, and the board would have to agree to do a budget transfer where we know what $5,000 is, we're not spending on something else.
When the robotics team were fortunate enough to go to Texas and you moved money, is that what you did then? You moved it out of the?
That money came, we were fortunate enough that businesses, Dollar Bank, Huntington Bank, and Waste Management donated $14,000 to the EITC program through the Education Foundation and helped supplement that.
Okay, so you didn't move any of our?
No, we didn't move any money from the general fund.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was the same with the championship rings. Some generous donors stepped forward and bought all the rings for that.
So this number 5, donation granted, what are we voting on? We're donating?
That donation is what's thrown me.
Yeah, like it's this.
Has it happened?
I think that donation was already made, correct?
No.
That word donation.
Is it more a money transfer than a donation? A donation's misleading.
No, it's not a budget transfer. It would be like this, the hockey. It'd be similar to the hockey.
Okay.
So when you referenced, Dawn, about supplementals, I don't know if we would be able to pay directly. It would be more of us maybe paying for materials and things of that nature,
Yeah, and they
registration fees, stuff like
They
that.
do incur that much cost from fee perspective. I think going forward, it was be a question of what we do in future budgets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for this would be for like registration fees and stuff like that.
As far as busing, when they bus them to go to competition and that,
That is paid by the district.
Right.
That's, yeah, that and facility usage.
So what are we approving here? If we approve this, what is
We're
happening?
gonna spend $5,000 on the general fund for supplies or entry fees, things of that nature for the Winter Guard percussion.
And this is for the 23-24 Winter Guard percussion.
For this current year.
Okay, and then,
We'll do a budget transfer like you normally approve it.
okay, and then,
I'll have to create an account for it, but we'll do a budget transfer from another account within the general fund.
and then in the future, could we look at possible supplementals?
Absolutely.
and Cheryl mentioned in an email, the Education Foundation.
Well, it's something
or-
that's been discussed.
Right.
Well, I think, Mike, you found the people and you're moving that
Right,
forward, correct?
We just filed for the program. Every year you have to do it. We just did a tax return and with the auditors when they were here, and we just sent in all the necessary forms. Dr. Rossi, just every year we had to renew to be a part of that program, the EITC.
Okay, so you
We're having
started,
another meeting with,
Yeah, we've been meeting. We're hoping in January to get it to have something for the board.
Kick off.
But EITC is not the Gateway Foundation.
It's part of it.
It's part of, you made it part of it when it was originally created.
When it's originally created, yes.
So you're
Yeah.
gonna, you,
We can
besides,
branch out though.
yeah, that's what I
Right.
was thinking, because
Right.
you can go to businesses, you can go to
Right.
foundations and get grants. So the options are endless because it's a nonprofit organization. And which the district too gets monies, obviously, we just had a list of donations.
Right.
But this would be potentially larger sums of money if it goes to a
But
foundation.
for right now, we need to decide on
Yeah, just approve
this $5,000 coming from the general fund
Right.
to assist the winter percussion and guard.
Right.
So let me ask the follow-up question. If this board decides tonight to not approve that, what will happen to these two teams, these two groups? Will they still be able to function or not?
They haven't passed.
Yes,
How's
they
that?
would. It just impacts
more.
it just impacts the students and how much they have to pay. And I think there are some students who have not been able to participate, from what I understand, because of the fees this year. So this would actually help reduce the cost for all the students who are participating.
Donna, if I can ask you, where are they at with donations, fundraisers?
So they do a significant number of fundraisers. So while this is not directly like the marching band organization, those kids, all the marching band fundraisers are open to these students and these activities all year, whether it's working at the sports venues for Aramark. It's not working, it's not taking volunteer, it's not profit, but whether they can get money in their account that way.
Well, do you know
they
where they're
raise
at
funds
right
stuff.
now? Because I know we had a presentation last meeting.
So I don't,
Where at
it's,
with funding?
fundraising in general is like an individual activity.
Okay.
Like, so if people want to raise money for their kids, they can do that. I paid for my kids for years in band by doing work at Aramark and doing that. And I raised literally thousands of dollars to do trips and my kids for their activities. So there's options for people to raise money on an individual basis.
There might be someone listening right now that has $5,000 that wants to donate it.
and I will say, Airmark is a lot of work.
I've done it before.
Yeah, it is a lot of work.
But maybe there is someone out there, some organization, some people, members of the community that want to donate, so we can help with the winter percussion.
And I know the band in general hasn't done a large sort of fundraising, like large donation type fundraising, since we did the trailer. So I know it was brought up earlier this year. That trailer was paid completely for by the band. The district, the only thing they did is bought a slightly larger pickup truck to tow the large trailer. But that almost $20,000 trailer was paid for by the marching band and fundraising and a GoFundMe and everything else. So.
Okay, so I guess we need to
I have do you have a question?
No, I just, back on number 3, college and high school. I know we've approved, Dr. Chakey, when will this start? When will the actual college and high school courses start?
Most of them already started. The one course, the Teacher Academy 2, starts if this semester break.
Okay, so they're in motion now and they're continuing. Okay.
So then if the students were in those classes now and would they now like only now be able to pay for them?
Some
fees to the.
Yeah, some can pay now, but others are already going down that route with the college and high school.
And some of these just need to be done annually if there's any revisions for
Revisions,
PDE.
okay.
Yeah.
What, Dr. Chakey, I was trying to figure out what's changed on the policies of the enrollment of students and non-residents. Were laws just updated?
Yeah, some things are updated. We get the template from PSBA, so it's just a matter of kind of looking at the ones from PSBA and aligning them to our policies.
Okay, so the highlighted numbers, are those the ones that changed by the laws?
If it's bolded, yeah, and then we determine these here with the check mark.
Based on?
These are
The
optional.
laws.
These ones are optional. So they give you some options and we can check which ones we want.
So which ones do it?
Yeah, like this one we check to see.
Oh, okay, all right. I tried to figure that out, but I failed miserably at it.
Any other discussion?
My daughter, who we all met tonight, she brought her little kids here. I guess it's grandpa. She was on collar guard. It was a wonderful experience. But these things, not just that, but all these things really do take a lot of money. So we have to rely on every avenue of income. Taxes, grants, gifts, generous individuals.
So do we want to take a separate vote on number 5?
We can, it's .0000515% of our budget. But if we want to take a separate vote on getting the color guard, $5,000, that's fine. If we'd be this diligent with the other 98 million, that'd be dandy, but okay.
But we're also specifying, they know that we're giving it to them now with the intent that, we're not always going to be there necessarily. And looking at other options eventually to raise other funds other ways. I agree. We can't keep going back to the same, but as long as everybody knows that this is this time.
Mike, how many members are on that gateway board, on that foundation?
On the foundation?
Yeah.
I don't think that that's put together yet. Are you working on that?
Yes, we are.
How many members are on this?
Yeah, we don't know yet, but let's go ahead and let's go ahead and move forward because we'll be here all night talking about this. So, let's just, we're just gonna put it all together. Go ahead and do a roll call, please.
Mrs. Delaney? Aye. Mrs. McBride?
Aye.
Mrs. Bungo?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye on everything except number 5.
Dr. Singh?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning? Aye. Mrs. Boyce?
Aye.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Mrs. Burns? Aye.
Motion is carried. All right. So number 9, board member resolution. Dr. Singh.
So there is a short-term vacancy at AIU board, and I would like to be a candidate. So if you can nominate me, thank you.
I would like to nominate Dr. Singh.
And I second that.
All in favor? Any discussion?
Yeah, if you would, bring back some of the intelligence that you get from some of those meetings here, because this board doesn't get to go to all the other 42 schools in our local district and ask how they're doing, what are they doing better, what are their issues. And so you're going to have a wit if you are elected by this team. If we put your name forward and if you're elected to sit on that board, you would have some intelligence to bring back that would be helpful to us.
Yes.
I agree.
And may I mention one other thing, having dealt with this, there's 29 intermediate units.
John really needs that information because if he continues to be the PSBA representative, there's a direct, I used to more than just provide programs for the schools. There's a lot of go-between. They are the go-between between Harrisburg and the school districts. He needs to know, so you two need to work on a collaboration. So when they bring in legislators, which they will, representatives, and talk to you, and he's going to Harrisburg, it's a sort of like a two-handed thing. You see that.
So I wanted to add a sentence. I promise you to fairly represent our district at AIU and bring back necessary feedback.
Yes, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Ayes, got it. All right. The next is
Administrative and board reports.
the board reports. There? Administrative and board reports.
All right, I'll go first. All right. Tonight we wanted to recognize Bonnie Isha, who will be retiring this spring as the transportation director, but tonight will be her last meeting as board secretary. So Bonnie has over 20 years of dedicated service to the district. Her vast knowledge and understanding of the intricacies of the roads in Monroeville and Pitcairn have been invaluable. Bonnie knows every nook and cranny, every shortcut and detour of our two communities and surrounding areas, because we travel everywhere.
Make a good driver.
In addition to her transportation responsibilities, Bonnie has handled the board secretary role. So just think about every meeting, every document, every vote for the past 20 years. She handled them with meticulous attention to detail. So depending on the meeting schedule, what's that, about 450 meetings? Well-deserved thank you for your dedication and service to our district. So after the meeting wraps up, we have cake waiting for us as a little treat to help celebrate Bonnie's retirement. So thank you, Bonnie.
All right. So now committees. Cheryl, everything you
Well,
want to
I
say?
don't serve on any committees yet, but I want to make one comment. I don't know who was working the booth at the concert on Sunday at the high school, but the East Wind Symphonic Band was performing for their, and John, I saw John there. Whoever those students were, kudos to them. The lights and the sound was amazing, wasn't it? They did an amazing job. And I have another job for them. I don't know if you know this, but when people are at home listening to board meetings, the sound is horrific. It's terrible. Whoever did the sound in the auditorium, it would be great if they could come here. We used to have an AV club who used to come in and make sure the mics were all working and whatever. So I don't know who those kids are, but if you're hitting it, it's probably not even on. But the sound, and they used to really organize the meetings, and I thought, who are those kids? They would do a great job doing our meetings if they would be willing to do this.
They have a stage crew, it's called.
Their stage crew, but there used to be an AV club. Do we have that anymore?
No.
Oh, it's too bad. Another great opportunity because that sort of preps them. I understand sound engineers make beaucoup bucks, so that would be a good opportunity to teach them that. So that would be excellent if we could get somebody to come on in.
They used to come in.
Yeah, they used to. I remember they used to come in and check all the mics.
The mics and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
is there
who is that?
some way, I think we've just, we'll look into it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking those people did,
Yeah.
the kids did such a bang up job for them. Whoever did that, if they could do that for your son, it would be great. And one last thing, I mentioned this to Dr. Rossi, and I know this is going to be introduced in January, but you know, we all get this cool stuff from the PSBA when we become a school board member, right? And in there, they show the principles of governance and leadership, and in 2022, they changed them and updated them. And they're recommending to all school board members now that once we've adopted these principles, which we can do, they're all listed, we can go through them, that we send, this board secretary sends the SBA that would notify them that we've adopted them and we agree with them. And then they send you this big poster, which you can frame, and we all get to sign, and we post it in the boardroom to show the community that these are the principles by which we live by as a board member. And I thought that was so nice that they just updated it, something for us to consider. And Ms. Eastocker, you could let them know if we decide to do that in the next month and we adopt them and go through them, and then we get this big poster and figure out where we stick it, because we have that up there, but it might be something nice to consider.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
John?
Sure. I went to the PSBA Delegate Assembly about a month ago, virtually. Wasn't able to travel out there face to face. But my report on the 3 or 4 hour meeting was that it was unremarkable. Not much happened. Nothing that caught my attention that I could bring back to the board. It was more of business as usual. They haven't tried anything new. This board got together about 4 or 5 months ago, and we put together a packet of 10 items that we proposed. They rejected all of those. So there wasn't much for, once they begin deliberating, I'm not allowed to re-raise it and say, hey, what about artificial intelligence? Why did you throw that out? And then it becomes on the front page of the PSBA bulletin the next month, and you threw it out and you don't want to address it, you don't want to plan for it. So it's a little frustrating for us, trying to help move things forward. But on the other hand, there were no disasters. It was just the run of the mill, vote for the treasurer and the secretary, and very little discussion, and then move on. So it is what it was. That's my report.
Thank you for your participation. All right, Susan.
Okay. First, let me thank Bonnie personally for a year of service and for personally helping me out when I always came to her office with seemingly a concern. And I'd like to welcome the new board members and the existing ones that were reelected. And I'm looking forward to working together with all of us as a team moving forward in 2024. And I know when I was looking in the board docs, and if you haven't already read that from the PSBA and some of the things, what the school board should not do, and as well as what they should do. So sometimes we need to look over and review and make sure we somewhat stay in our lanes. School boards, governance, superintendents' jobs. Everyone has a part to play, and together when we play those parts, even our solicitor, we play our parts together, I think we'll make a pretty good team. In fact, I know we'll make an excellent team when we can. I mean, sure, we're going to agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, for the sake and the good of our students and the Gateway School District, we want to keep moving forward in whatever we do. And with that, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a Happy Kwanzaa, a happy, still Diwali, I don't know, a happy holiday season. That's it for me.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I just want to congratulate the new board members and welcome back the old ones. I'm not saying old, but returning ones. I don't know why. But no, just looking forward to working with everyone. Bonnie, it's going to be tough not seeing you over there. But Janet, we'll see you. She's a lefty too.
Losing a lefty.
So, but
Yeah, I was gonna say Janet is.
that's what I said. She's lefty too. I saw. I lost my train of thought. I know, I said winter sports has started. Welcome everybody to participate in the audiences up at the different sports, and happy holidays to everyone, and welcome back, Mr. Dice.
Thank you.
That's it.
In addition to the winter sports, so there's always a lot of school programs, concerts and everything in December. If you want to get the holiday spirit, make sure you catch those. And then, I don't know if you've ever seen, my oldest graduated last year, so I got a yearbook, and if you haven't seen yearbooks, I've had quite a few in the last couple of years with all my kids graduating. This year's yearbook was very nice. The cover was, a nice Gateway black and gold, so shout out to the yearbook staff who did a very nice job in those.
Good. Mr. Bova.
Yeah, just welcome to the new folks. Pretty exciting, opportunity and change, I think, is nothing to be afraid of. In fact, I was thinking about when I first got appointed, there are a whole bunch of new faces just in this room, and turnover is not necessarily a bad thing, so we'll make the best of it. It's going to be great. I'll miss Bonnie, of course, but because my eyesight's failing, you two look exactly the same. Your glasses, so no big deal. Congratulations to John and Robin. Looking forward to some great leadership, and happy holidays to everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Dr. Singh.
So, welcome to all the new folks and colleagues. And thanks to Bonnie, I can point out one special thing is she maintains an open door policy. It's a wonderful thing to do.
You just have to come to the second floor now.
And you have to cross 4 doors.
Without a badge. Good luck.
No, yeah. So, I used to work at Salk Institute, San Diego, way back. And one very renowned person, he was one of my mentors, and he maintained an open door policy. One person. Otherwise, you have all kinds of guards and gatekeepers and whatnot. But it's a very nice concept, and I tell you, if I had an office, which board members don't have an office, but it will be an open door. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Leslie.
I'll give George's congratulations to Cheryl and Donna, and welcome back to the veteran board members. And Robin and John, congratulations as Vice President. I also look forward to this great leadership that we have. And enjoy the holidays. And Bonnie, nobody can say enough about you and your years and your dedication. And I'm on my 4th kid through the district with 15 years in between them. And you've never left a kid of mine behind. So, Janet, it sounds like you have big shoes to fill, but I hear nothing but good things about you and everything that, we have talked about. Bonnie can complain about me later about how much help I'm like, wait, what am I doing? So, yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We're all leaders here. We're all going to work together. I think we have a good group, and we're all in it for the right reasons. And it's for our district, our kids, our community, and let's just do this. All right. So I know we're going to have a short executive session after this, but we need to adjourn this meeting first. So
And then we won't come back, is that true?
we will not come back here, but we're going to have a brief executive session.
We have cake first?
We could have
Oh, yeah, we
also have an executive session.
for personnel matters.
Yes, we did have an executive session briefly prior to the regular meeting for personnel matters. So I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.